Lift the trap up, drop my stick to the bottom. It worked great. Hi, I'm Greg Ovens, and this is Ovens Rocky Mountain Bushcraft. There we go. Oh. Every evening now, for the last while, the mice, they get in my truck, they chew my clothes, they take Finn's dry dog food away. If I forget to put a pod away or hang it in a tree, they get in there and I gotta keep disinfecting and this and that. I'm gonna make a live trap for these mice out of a plastic water bottle. I gathered up some material from the dump, actually, some lumber and this and that. And today we're gonna build this trap, and then this evening we're gonna make a spaghetti dinner on the fire. And that's what this video is all about. This actually should be really cool. This trap that I'm going to make, I think you'll find interesting. I've got this round stick here. It's not very big, size of a pencil or something. And I want to try to figure out my balancing point. And it's pretty easy to do with this because there's these grooves. Okay, that's kind of my balancing point right there. I want to go a little bit this way where the bottom touches and the top is up. And you'll see why later as I design the trap. So it doesn't take much to lean it this way, but it will sit like that. Okay, so now I've figured out my balance point. I made a mental note. It's right in the middle here where this little piece of paper stuck to the container. And there's these little marks going this way. So directly on the opposite, at the same side, which would be in the middle of these, I'm going to take this piece of wire that I got from the dump, heat it up, or melt a hole through it, so that this can go through the container. So, that's the next step to this idea. Okay, now I've got my mental note of where I want this hole. That's perfect. I go to the opposite side. Same thing. Wind's blowing my container. Okay, good enough. Let my wire cool down. I'm going to cut a 16-inch piece of this 1x8. Now I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to bend a hook at the one end, crimp it a little tighter. Now I'm going to take my container, put my wire through it. So I got a 2x4. I'm going to lift this up just to the top of there. I want to figure out where to bend this wire. About 3.5 inches. Now I'm going to measure up and bend that. I want a 90-degree angle to that, like that. Pre-drilled a pilot hole here just to make it easier. And now I've got my screw. I want to clamp the wire to here with my hook. Okay, it's tight enough. Then it's going to go on here, right to the end. I got my balance point perfect, actually, I believe. I think my spot is perfect. And then I'm going to take my 2x4 on this end and put it right near the mouth of the trap, and I'm going to mount this board. But I want clearance. for it to go up and down. This is working perfect. Okay, so I put a mark where I want my board. Okay, good and tight. If I have to bend this wire, I can. This goes to the far end. That's perfect. So the idea is the mouse, we're going to bait it inside the trap. The mouse will come up on the board, go in here, and the weight of the mouse will shut this, okay? If he's at this end, it's open. But by the time he gets to this end, it'll shut on him. And as long as he stays at this end, we could possibly get more than one mouse with this trap. Because if he's at that end, another one could come in. And that doesn't mean one couldn't escape, but we might catch more than one with this. Okay, so the only problem I see, if this goes all the way down, in here, there's at least a ½ inch gap. I think the mice could probably get out of there. So I'm going to put a shim, figure out where it's got to go, so that it only comes down level. That's too far. Right about there. And then there's only an 1/8 of an inch gap. So I'm going to get this shim in. I think I'm ready to go with this homemade live trap for the mice. They'll get up on the board. We're just going to throw some bait inside it, obviously. When they go in, this shuts. If they're at the far end, it's going to be open. But before they get to this end, it's going to shut. Let's see what happens. We're going to put a trail cam up on this and just see if we have success. I'm just going to leave the wire along at this end. And if I catch mice, I can just screw the lid back on in the morning, slide it off, and take them to wherever I want to. I want to take them across the river, so they hopefully don't come back, and then the owls have some food, and everybody's happy except the mice. Okay, we're going to get this dinner going. I'm going to open the back side of my butter because the mice, they got in the front of it. Going to saute some mushrooms and onions and some garlic. I make spaghetti around camp quite often. I mean, it's one of my favorite things. It's very filling, very good for you. I just love it. A couple cloves of garlic is usually all I use. Love the smell of garlic when it's cooking in butter. It smells so nice. Okay, I sauteed my mushrooms and onions and garlic for about 10 minutes or maybe a bit more on fairly high heat. There's a hamburger in here. I did wash my hands, I assure you. Mind you, it wouldn't matter with all the mice around if I washed my hands or not. Wow, unless I was touching mice. But sauce is, it's so easy to make spaghetti. But you see how nice and golden the mushrooms were? The mushrooms and onions, nice and golden. You don't want to overcook your garlic. Now that I turned the heat down, I'm going to add another clove of garlic. A little bit of beer really does wonders to the mushrooms and the onions. Now tell me that doesn't look good. This is a great sauce, I'm telling you. Saute your mushrooms and onion and garlic first. Add one more clove once you turn the heat down for your hamburger. A little bit of beer, which just sweetens and brings out the flavor in the mushrooms and the onions. We're just about ready for the sauce. We'll get our spaghetti going. It's going to be awesome. I love spaghetti. Now I like to add a can of peas and carrots. My spaghetti sauce. I'll stir this up. Should try this on a campfire. It's so easy to make and very good. Some things never change. Still using a stick to stir with. We'll let this simmer and then we can get our spaghetti going. I think this is done. You know, this stump has been so handy. I use it all the time. It's good for the stove. Not only that, I build all my projects, like the mouse trap that I built today. Built it on here. My longbow crossbow. It's just such a nice table. This old stump. Still pretty solid. I don't need to build a table in camp. I've got this. It's going to be good. Going to be nice as it slides off, eh? Going to be good. That is good. Pretty reliable. So good. I will eat this before I set the trap up. You know, you should really try this recipe on a campfire, Coleman stove, whatever. It's just such a good sauce to make. I like to use either wine or beer, like I said. Some people use like a tablespoon of brown sugar. I just find for me it tends to make the sauce a little too sweet for me. I mean, I do like it, but it's a tad too sweet. The beer and the wine still brings out the sweetness of the onion, mushroom, but it's not as sweet as the brown sugar. So, to each his own. Not criticizing those that use brown sugar in their spaghetti sauce, but try this one as well. And let's get that mouse trap set up. Man, I hope we get one. I'm just going to put the trap beside the tire of the truck here. Got a piece of cheese I'm going to throw in the bottom. And I got some peanut butter. Just a bit on my finger. I'm going to put inside. Reach as far as I can and smear it on the edge. That's all I got to do. Okay, trap's baited. We are going to just set it up here beside the tire. See what happens. It's going to work. I almost guarantee you. Okay, we'll set the trail cam up. And hopefully we catch this thing working in action on the trail cam. What are you looking at? Stop looking at the rust on my truck. Just kidding. Okay, so I'll tell you what happened here. I had a mouse in here. I can tell because there's droppings in here. But it escaped somehow. And I reviewed the footage on the trail cam and I don't have any footage. The problem is that it's just a black screen. I had the wrong setting on the trail cam, so actually you can't see anything. So now I have to assume how the mouse got out. And there's two ways I can think of. I don't have this end secured, so when it was down, he may have just pushed his way out. Or the other thing is, maybe what happened is he actually, because the bottle doesn't weigh anything, he may have just grabbed onto the wood and just pulled the whole apparatus up. So I'm going to stabilize this side, put a piece of tin where he can't scrape up the wood and lift the bottle up. It's only two things I can think of, so I'm going to make those adjustments, see if I can't figure out in the settings why the trail cam didn't work, and go from there and try again. But I am on a road trip. I brought the trap with me to try to finish this video because I'm working on 3 videos at the same time, and but I want to get this thing to work. So there's mice everywhere you go. Just finish this video on my road trip, that's all. They won't be able to scrape their way up the tin and grab into the wood with their little claws, because they do have these little claws. That could have been what happened. Amazing where mice can actually get. I mean, they seem to be able to get through the smallest little cracks. Just nail it down, I guess, like that. Okay, well, I got my piece of tin on here. I actually found an old nail and just pounded it in with a rock. I didn't video that, sorry. But it seems to be working good. I can't see how they can crawl up the tin. The other thing is, maybe he pushed the wire back enough. Now, I don't have a lot of tools, and but I have some tape. Electrical tape. So what I'm going to do is carefully just wrap some tape around here so this can't go back. Let's do that. But hey, this is what improvising is all about. And bushcraft in general. A lot of times is about improvising. Whether it's your truck, you get stuck and you got to figure out how to get out. Making homemade implements to eat with. Whatever it is, improvising is a big part of bushcraft or survival. Whether you're building a fish trap or getting unstuck or whatever it is. That would have been nice to have that footage to see exactly how the mouse escaped, but I'm going to take these precautions and we're going to try again. I just want to be gentle with this though, because I don't want to get it so it's not going to work. Let's wrap this a couple times. I mean, electrical tape is strong. We know that. I want it to stay in place where I want it. Gently wrap it so it can't go backwards. If that's going to work still. Okay, that's good. And then it won't go back. This is perfect. Okay, I got her. I think we're good. Like I say, now I got my tin just working perfect. I don't see how they can climb up this, but then also I had to put tape to hold the wire from going back, but I also had to put tape on the other side, so that'll stabilize it both ways. I could have come up with a different rig if I had proper tools and whatever, but let's bait our trap, put our night cam up again. I'm just going to throw some peanut butter down there, put some on a stick, lift the trap up, drop my stick to the bottom, we're good to go. Yep. I can't see them getting out this time. Let's hope not. Okay guys, I got my mouse. He's trying to get out, but he can't. He's trying to scrape, but now that I got the tin, he can't get a grip to get out. Perfect. It worked great. Okay, so now you can see every time the mouse comes to this end, the trap's working now. It's shut, it goes to that end, it comes up, but before he gets to this end, see? The trap worked. Now when I get back to camp, I can start relocating some of the mice. I'm happy about this. Because I'm not at camp, I'm going to let this guy go. And but there you go. It's just working. I don't know if you can see him in there, but when he comes to the one end, goes down. Alright, let's let this guy go. Okay, so I'll just hold the trap upside down and dump him out if he'll come. There he goes. No, Finn, leave him. Leave him. Okay, success. I want to thank all you subscribers, viewers in general. Something I wanted to mention though is on the last video, the fireside chat with Greg, production made a bit of a mistake there. They showed Bow River, but actually where we were in that video was the Bull River, B-U-L-L, near Fernie. So I just wanted to clarify that little mistake or miscommunication. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.